Hello everyone and welcome back to another BCP library video. My name is Katy and this is Charlie, and today we are going to be showing you some Anglo-Saxon activities. But before I show you how to make these crafts in the video here, I'm going to tell you 10 facts about the Anglo-Saxons. So let's get started, shall we? Fact number 1 is that the Anglo-Saxons were made up of 3 tribes who came to England from across the North Sea around the middle of the 5th century. They were called the Angles, Saxons and Jutes, and they came from Denmark, Germany and the Netherlands. And this happened after the Romans left Britain in 410 AD. Number 2 is that the Anglo-Saxon period covers 600 years and it ended with the Battle of Hastings in 1066. Number 3, the Anglo-Saxons had several kingdoms across England with more than one king, whereas today we have one king or queen. In the Anglo-Saxon time, the country was divided up into lots of kingdoms and was ruled by more than one king. Number 4 is that the Anglo-Saxons once worshipped lots of different gods that they believed controlled all areas of life. But around the 7th century, many converted to Christianity after the arrival of a missionary called Saint Augustine from Rome, because the Pope sent him over to try and convert the British people. Fact number 5 is that the Anglo-Saxons lived in small villages near rivers, forests and other important resources that gave them everything they needed to care for farm animals, grow crops and make things to sell. Number 6, Anglo-Saxons mostly lived in one-room houses made from wood with thatched roofs. Important people in the village would live in a larger building with their advisors and soldiers. This was called the hall. Number 7 is that the Anglo-Saxons had their own language of runes. Some of our modern English words, such as the days of the week, come from the Anglo-Saxon language. This is sometimes called Old English too. For example, Monondag is where we get Monday from, and Verdensdag is where we get Wednesday from. Some of the names of the days of the week are named after Anglo-Saxon gods. For example, Verdensdag is named after the god Woden. It means Woden's Day. Number 8, we know what the Anglo-Saxons did because of the Anglo-Saxon Chronicles. This was a collection of events that people back then wrote every year, kind of like a summary of the year in a diary. Number 9, Beowulf is an Anglo-Saxon heroic poem. It's 3,182 lines long, which tells us a lot about life in Anglo-Saxon times, though it is not set in England but in Scandinavia. Beowulf is probably the oldest surviving long poem in Old English. We don't know the name of the Anglo-Saxon poet who wrote it, but it was written in England sometime between the 8th and early 11th century. And finally, number 10, a famous Anglo-Saxon archaeological site is Sutton Hoo, where a whole ship was used as a grave. An Anglo-Saxon king was buried inside the ship along with some of his possessions, such as his helmet and sword. And there is a link to the website of Sutton Hoo in the description below if you would like to find out more, along with other websites to give you some more information about the Anglo-Saxons, along with some videos too. So now let's get on with some activities. So first of all, I'm going to show you how to make an Anglo-Saxon rune bookmark. And for this, I'm going to write Charlie's name on a piece of card that I've cut out. And I'm going to be using this sheet of paper with all the runes on. You can either download this in the description below and print it out, or you can pause the video and copy it down for yourself. So I'm going to start with a C, and according to my sheet, it looks a little bit like a modern H. So I am starting off with one colour. I'm going to do each letter a different colour, but you can choose one colour if you wish. It's totally up to you. So now I'm going to do an H, and that is this symbol here. Kind of looks like an N with an extra line in the middle. And these shapes are really interesting, and you can see that some of the letters are the same as they are today. So looking at the F and the Z, for example, and the R, they look like what we have today. So I'm just finishing off with the E now, and funnily enough, the E looks like an M we use today. And that is Charlie. And I'm also going to draw a little pitch of Charlie in the spiky rune style just to finish it off. So there is Charlie in the spiky rune style. I'm also going to add a hole punch to the top of the card, just so I can add a tassel to the bookmark. You don't have to do this, it's totally up to you, but if you want to, you can use some ribbon or some wool. And here is my finished bookmark, and I'm going to give it to Charlie now, and he's going to go and use it in his Anglo-Saxon book because he's reading all about the Anglo-Saxons, and he's reading his name in the runes because he's very clever, and now he's going to go and do some reading. There we go, Charlie. We'll see you again later. So now I'm going to show you how to make some Anglo-Saxon jewellery with some cardboard, something circular to draw around, some school glue, some wool, some scissors, some kitchen foil, some pens and some gem stickers if you have them. So first of all, you need to take your circular object and draw around it on some cardboard. I've got some cardboard from a box packaging. If you don't have this, you can just use a cereal packet or some ordinary card. That's fine. I'm just using this because it's a little bit sturdier and thicker. And then I'm going to cut out my circle very, very carefully. And you can do this carefully by turning the cardboard rather than the scissors. So once it's cut out, it should look something like this. And then I'm going to take my glue and with the glue draw some shapes. So for this one I'm drawing a kind of cross shaped, and you can use the internet to look up some Anglo-Saxon patterns if you want to. But then I'm going to take some wool or string and glue it to where I have put the lines, like this. And this can be a little bit tricky, so you might want to get a grown-up to help you or someone else to help you just to make sure it's stuck in place. There we go. I'm going to put them on each of the lines and cut it to fit. And once you are happy with how your string looks, it will look something like this. And these are my patterns here. You might want to add an extra layer of string or wool before you get your tinfoil, just because it might make it easier to see the pattern. So now I'm going to cover my cardboard with some kitchen foil, and you just need to cover it. You don't even need to glue this in place because tin foil does wrap around things nice and easily and it fits to the shape. So you need to wrap it around really tightly and press over where the string is, because you want the string to come through the tin foil, not break the tin foil, but so it looks like it is embossed onto the tin foil, as you can see with the one that I have just finished. And then you can add some gemstone stickers if you have them. If not, you can just use sequins. That's totally fine. And I am using a permanent marker just to draw around where my string is underneath, just to define the embossed bit a little bit. So this is what it looks like when it's finished. It's nice and shiny and sparkly. And I'm just doing another one here now. Just adding some stones to make it look a little bit more fancy. And these work either as Anglo-Saxon shields or amulets, or even if you want to do them a little bit smaller, you can replicate some Anglo-Saxon coins. It's totally up to you. But they're very easy to make and quite quick. So these are my finished designs. As you can see, the string acts as a nice embossment for the coin or the amulet. And they are very, very shiny because of the kitchen foil. And this one makes a very good shield for Charlie. So I'm going to give it to Charlie and he can go and play some Anglo-Saxon games now. Off you go, Charlie. And finally, I'm going to show you how to draw this Anglo-Saxon helmet. So what you need to take a pencil and a piece of paper and draw an oval shape like I've done here. And then on each side of the oval, you want to draw a shape like this. It's hard to describe what the shape is, so just watch what I'm doing for this bit and you'll see what I mean. And once you have those shapes in place, like this, you then need to join up the corners of the shapes like that. And then do a curved line to make it into one big helmet shape like that. Then we need to give some eye holes. So there we go, a straight line and a curve, and a straight line and a curve, like this. I'm pressing a little bit harder because I want it to show up on camera, but for this you don't need to press very hard because we're going to erase these later. And then I've drawn curves above And now we're doing a triangle shape for the nose, and then a little moustache underneath. It looks like a moustache and a little mouth. And then we're just going to extend the nose all the way up to the top of the helmet like this. And then we just need to join the eyes to the sides of the helmet like it is on the photograph. And that is the basic guidelines done. So now I'm taking a black pen and I'm going to draw all the way around like this. And you're not going to be drawing over every single line because some of them are guidelines, but if you just follow what I'm doing and follow what lines I'm drawing over with the black pen, you should be fine. And I'm just going to bring it all the way round underneath and then all the way back. And now for the eyes, I'm going to colour those in black because those are where the eyes would look out. It's like a mask helmet. And then just adding the top parts. And then doing the nose all the way down and then all the way back up. Then the moustache. Then the mouth. Then joining the eyes to the sides of the helmet. And then the other side. And then adding some details over the eyes. As you can see from the photograph, the helmet is very, very decorated. You can add your own decorations or you can just leave it plain like I'm doing. And then once you have got your outline in place, you can then take an eraser and erase your pencil lines so we don't see the guidelines. And then you're ready to colour it in. I'm going to colour mine in similar to the photograph in the corner, but you can colour yours in however you like. You don't have to colour it in silver and gold, it's totally up to you. So I'm colouring these bits in gold, and then I've got a silver crayon which I'm going to colour this bit in, and then we will be finished. But like I said, you can decorate yours in any way you like. You might want to replicate some of the pattern work if you like drawing, that's totally fine. And here is my finished helmet drawing. Now it's your turn to see if you can draw a helmet yourself. So those are my Anglo-Saxon activities. Don't forget there are links to the resources from this video in the description below, as well as some other websites and videos that you can look at if you're interested in learning more about Anglo-Saxons. But that is all for this video, and we'll see you again in another library video very soon.